I want to talk to you about the independent wrestling life. What can you tell me about the importance of wrestling indie?
I started wrestling in independence. It's a place where unknowns are able to kind of master their craft. You work in front of the smaller crowds, and then you know you're the unknown. You're the guy who's making nothing to, I don't know, 20 bucks, and there's usually the name who's there, whose responsibility is to bring in the people. Your career kind of goes full circle. I remember I started again on the indies all up the East Coast. I'm from New York, but I used to work Massachusetts, Maine, everywhere. And then now I'm the name responsible for bringing the people. When I started, again, October 28th will be 25 years. It was different. A bad independent show was 1,000 people. There was 2,000 to 3,000 people at most indie events. They were all promoted well, and there wasn't a promoter. There wasn't a show next week, a show the day before, a night after. It was really, there was a lot of good promoters out there, and it wasn't, you know, guys who are, I kind of call them nickel and dime guys who are fly-by-nights or, you know, want to pretend to be wrestler or pretend to be wrestling promoter. When I started, and there was work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Sundays was always day shows. Again, the business has changed, but it's a place for people to kind of, it's the minor leagues for a lot of guys, getting your first, you know, starts, and then you're lucky if there's a veteran on the show that takes an interest in you or sees you and wants to either help you or, you know, say, hey kid, why don't you try to do this, or you get to work with one of those veterans and, you know, they teach you how to have a really decent match. And the other importance for indies, and I say this, I do a lot of seminars, and there's nothing wrong with being an independent wrestler, because now the business has changed a lot, and you will, for some guys this is all they'll have, but there's nothing wrong with that. You're someone who's still paying a ticket to see you, and you're still out there pursuing your dream, and you know, it's, to me, it's a decent trade-off. I've been blessed. I had Tony Atlas. I had Kevin Sullivan. I was a good-looking, young, white meat babyface to describe myself, and I would always work with that veteran because I like to, you know, I was a good wrestler when I started, and I was able to either make them look better or I would just sit there and listen, but I had to work with all of them. There was a guy who was actually based from up here, Tony Rumble, and he would book me against everyone. I mean, I work with Kevin, Tony all the time, Dick Slater, you name it, I worked with anybody, and they all, you know, taught me, and it was great. It's a great learning experience for me because, you know, you're sitting there, or I work with Ravishing Rick Rude, who, you know, I just left WWF at the time, and you know, to be in the ring with, you know, Ravishing Rick Rude, and just I could throw a punch and the people would explode because he made them hate him so much, you know, so stuff like that. Or Rick Martel, who I was a huge fan of growing up. To me, the best part of wrestling, especially on the independent level, Derek Jeter cannot play with Reggie Jackson. On the independent level, you can, and you can still play at a decent, respectable level, you know. And again, I remember being on shows. Terry Funk is 70 years old. He was recently on one of my shows. He's 70 years old. He still goes out there. He beat the crap out of 2 kids. He DDT'd somebody on the floor at 70 years old. But for those 2 kids, it was such an honor to be working with a 70-year-old man. I mean, honestly, think about that. You know, no other sport, no one could go and say, hey, Michael Jordan, you want to go play in front of, you know, high school kids and at a high school gym, you know, help me. That happens, which is cool.
Get up, you son of a bitch!
25-year career, followed you for a long time. Just had a question. Why was there never a WCW on for you?
I didn't believe in WCW, and they had offered me 4 jobs, and I turned them down every time. Sometimes I kicked myself in the ass for the astronomical amount of money that was offered to me, but I knew they didn't want me for being me. They wanted me to hurt ECW. So that's why I didn't go. But it made me hardcore. And a lot of those guys that did, my career has outlasted all of them.
My third match was on December 2nd in North Chelmsford, Mass. It was the first time I ever had to travel to a show. And I've been doing this, again, 25 years. And you always say, thank you, Tommy, thank you, Tommy. Give yourself a thank you for raising your kids right, supporting independent wrestling, and taking them out for a nice, safe night of crazy professional wrestling. I love you too. Driving up here last night before I went to the Bruins game, I passed Revere, Lowell, all towns that helped make me and ECW famous. From the bottom of my heart, you guys have been supporting me since I'm 18 years old. Thank you guys, because you help me continue each and every day.
Professional tickets they got here in ECW. Hey Tommy, way to go. Great match, man. Thank you. Getting old. How are you, dude?
Are you still in TNA?
I am.
Kick that rhino's ass.
Hello, my dear. I'll shake Tommy's hand.
You doing me a favor?
Thank you, Daddy, for bringing me, okay? ECW legend. Good man's the best. Good job. Yes. Good job.
Go back to TNA, do me a favor.
Tommy. All right.
You're awesome!
That's awesome. Thank you.
Tommy, can you sign this? Hey, can I use your marker?
Your marker. Tommy, thank you. It's the first rule of autograph seeking. You always got to have a marker.
Awesome.
I love the balls tonight.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. I know.
Yo,
match, man.
I got the marker. You got the marker? I got the marker.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks, Tommy.
See you guys.
Hey, Tommy.
Yo. See you, buddy.
Beat that rhino's butt.
I know. Yes.
Kind of gay, Steve.
Yeah. No, kick his ass, man.
Never gay.
Tommy!
Yes.
How you like the aspect of meeting the fans?
It's awesome, bro. It's the next generation of guys. This ain't about me. This is about the youth, man. You know, he's stiff.